Are you a Black woman looking to heal from trauma, process what you've been through in the United States, and you're looking to do that by traveling abroad? If so, this video is for you. My name is Marissa Price. I'm an intuitive healer and business coach. And on this channel, we talk about healing and liberation for Black women and femmes. So please subscribe to my channel if this type of content resonates with you. Please like this video, comment down below, and please share it as well. And if you're joining us live today, please introduce yourselves in the chat. You know the drill, so we can say hello to you, welcome you, and thank you for joining today. So this video is how traveling abroad has helped me heal from trauma. So I've talked a lot about on my channel about my experience in a toxic job, right? Surviving a toxic job, being in kind of a DEI position, which if you're in a DEI position as a Black woman, you know how difficult, draining to your spirit that work can be, to literally be working on initiatives to improve people's lives, to make changes in communities, and you're not being supported along the way, right? So that can be like, wow, really? That's what's happening? So if you're kind of in that token, right, of leading these initiatives, doing these things, and feeling like you're just kind of hitting a brick wall, that's exactly what I was experiencing in the job that I was in. And so taking a trip abroad, my first trip to Mexico City, was life-changing for me. So I'm going to talk about that in this video. Like I said, if you're here, please introduce yourselves in the chat so we can say hello to you. But yes, how has traveling abroad helped me heal from trauma in the United States? The first thing I have on my list is that it showed me that I'm not the problem, right? So if you're in a similar situation, like I said, if you are in any type of workplace that is draining you, demeaning you, and we know folks' behavior has intensified over the past couple of weeks. I have heard this from people, right? People are feeling emboldened to really share what they have been feeling and thinking about us this entire time, and it's really out on Front Street. What we have been knowing that they have been thinking about us, it's like now they feel comfortable to share it. So if you're experiencing this, please know you're not alone. Oh, thank you, Lauren. I appreciate that. Good to see you here. Good to see you here as always. Thank you. Yes, y'all, I got my haircut. So it's something about getting your haircut. It's like feeling this new energy. So I appreciate that. I appreciate that. But yes, yeah, like I said, it showed me that I'm not the problem, right? So I've talked about on my channel being a Black girl in white schools, right? All these toxic institutions, these oppressive institutions that I have found myself in all throughout the course of my life. Traveling abroad has really like reflected back to me that I was never the problem. And that has been tremendously healing for my spirit to be like, oh, it wasn't me, right? I wasn't being too sensitive. That's the thing I have on my list too. I was never too sensitive. I was just in really mean environments this entire time. And we know that if you come from the US, you know how mean of a place it can be, just looking to take your power at every turn, right? To kind of take you down a notch in a lot of the spaces that we're in, right? So if you are experiencing something like this, traveling abroad may be the solution to help you realize that you're not the problem and you never were, right? To kind of take back those pieces that you may have left along the way to try to fit in to these systems, to these institutions, to these organizations that really did not deserve you. They never did. And really waking up to your power. So traveling abroad can help you do that too, as well. Yes, y'all, if you need help making your travel or move abroad plan, I am introducing help with that. Let me put that up on the screen. To make your travel or move abroad plan, like I said, I don't think I said that actually, but I live in Guadalajara, Mexico now. My first trip out of the US was about 2 years ago at this point, to Mexico City. So jumped right into like one of the biggest cities in the world, Mexico City. And that was on my sabbatical. So I took a sabbatical from a very toxic job experience in the banking field, and had to take that time for myself using FMLA, which is Family Medical Leave Act. So I took that, and that allowed me to have the time to travel abroad. So that may be something that you may be interested in too. Looking in your employee handbook. Does your employer offer sabbaticals, paid leave if possible? I know that some states FMLA is paid. I think California is one of those states, but really look into your options, right? How can you take time off to prioritize yourself, your wellness, to achieve your travel dreams, to see life outside of the US, because I promise you, once you leave the borders, you realize how really messed up of a place that is, right? And all these memories and trauma that you've experienced kind of comes into full vision of what you've been experiencing. We know that the history of the US, right, is one of violence, is one of subjugation. And so we are often treated as subjects, right, within the empire. That is how we are regarded. And so once you leave the borders, you realize that people treat you like a human being, right? And of course, there are issues all around the world. I have on my list colorism, classism are huge issues, especially within Latin America, which is the only region I've traveled to. But to be treated like a human being, and for that to be like, wow, people actually regard me as human. I don't have to try to prove that I'm human. I don't have to try to like go above and beyond, right? We know that we achieve a lot of these things to try to prove to other people that we're worthy, because that's a messaging that we're taught. How would it change, right? How does that change when you leave the borders and you realize that people have that respect for you? That's life-changing. That's been life-changing for me. Hey, Lady Purple LP. Good to see you here. Thank you so much for joining. Leslyn, oh, it's good to see you. Yes, I finally made it. How is everyone? We're doing okay. It's been up and down, and let me know how y'all are feeling too. It has been up and down for the past, how many weeks has it been? 2 weeks. Just like a roller coaster of emotions, right? Really sadness, anger, despair sometimes, and then like being like, I'm just about to be my full self, right? If other people can do that so boldly and it result in my rights being taken away, then I'm just about to show up as my full self. So it's been a roller coaster, but yes, I would love to know how you're doing too. Alicia, hi, good to see you. Good to see you. Yes. Leslin says, I'm currently in New York, and it has indeed been a roller coaster. Yeah. It has. Yeah, a lot. So if you're feeling like what's about to happen, right? That's kind of the mood I'm in. Just kind of waiting for something to happen that I see kind of coming down the pipeline. Like I know it's coming, just trying to prepare myself as best as possible, and really protecting my peace at all costs. That's kind of been the mood that I've been in lately. So yeah. Lauren, thank you for this. Yes, it has. Only 2 weeks, but it has felt like years. It has. I had to remind myself today that it's only been 2 weeks. Yeah, because it has felt like literally 10 years within the past 2 weeks. So yeah, time is just, kind of means nothing, right? When you're staring at something coming at you, it's like, how do I even prepare for this? I know it's about to be bad, but like, I don't know all the details of what I'm about to encounter. So yeah. Yes. So other ways that traveling abroad has helped me heal, and has shown me just because things are more complicated doesn't mean they're more developed, right? Something that I have learned throughout traveling throughout Mexico, like I said, starting in Mexico City, taking a trip to Playa del Carmen, Guadalajara, which is where I live now. And then I also took a trip to Querétaro and San Miguel de Allende in Mexico. So kind of traveled throughout Mexico, have a few different cities that I want to check out still. But yeah, it showed me that just because it's complicated doesn't mean it's more developed, which is the message that we are told, especially coming from the US. Having even worked in the field of community development, right, which I have an issue with now. Who is to say what's developed and what's not, right? How are we, it's kind of like a way to tell people, right, the standards of things. If it doesn't live up to this standard, who someone else set, then it's not developed, right? Really unlearning that. And part of traveling and doing it responsibly is unlearning the messages that you've received throughout your life that may be contributing to other people's oppression, right, while you're traveling. No, it doesn't have to be more complicated, right? To be more developed. No, it doesn't have to fit into Western standards to be the best, which is what we're taught a lot. So it's really deep, like reflecting on the beliefs and messages you've internalized throughout your life to kind of put those to the side, right? To literally extract those from your mind and like tell yourself, I'm not going to continue to have these messages going on, right? Because they're resulting in other people's oppression and also my oppression. So unlearning that. Yes. It isn't. It isn't. Thank you, Leslie. No, it's not. It's not linear. And yes, Lavendula on her Substack. Let me see if I can put it in here. She's been writing like great pieces about time is an illusion. I think she has like a 4-part series on that. We put her Substack here. I believe that's her Substack. But yeah, it really is. It really is an illusion. That's something I've been sitting with. And it's not linear. It's not. Yeah. So if you're kind of feeling like, has it been 2 weeks or has it been 2 years? I don't know. I'm in that same thing. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Lady Purple LP says this election has taught me that it's okay to prioritize myself and to truly step into myself and be who I am, if that makes sense. That makes 100% sense. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. Yeah, I'm feeling that same way. It's okay to prioritize myself and to truly step into myself and be who I am, if that makes sense. Yes. Yes. And I think a lot of us are feeling that way, right? It's like if you can feel comfortable coming out, right, and sharing all these things that you've shared that are really evil and that really result, again, in our rights being taken away. And then I'm afraid to come out and like share stuff that's healing to other people. That doesn't make any sense to me, right? So it's really like coming into that realization. I'm actually trying to do good. And so I have to be just as vocal, just as loud as people who are trying to strip rights from people, right? Really coming into that. Yeah, Leslie says, in determining what developed might mean in context. I'm from a second world country. Yeah, yeah. Thank you for that. Yeah. Just the whole term of development, right? Third world, right? Where do these terms come from and who created them and whose standards are we trying to live up to and why? These are questions I've really had to sit with. And traveling really helps you like ask yourself those questions. It really does. Yay, I'm glad. I'm glad. I definitely plan to travel more. Yes, yes. It really does expand your view of the world. Something I have on my list too, like your trust in yourself. As you are just navigating the process of travel, which can be very up and down, right? It can hit you with curveballs that you didn't expect. Really realizing that you can trust yourself, that you know what to do, that you don't have to have everything like perfectly planned, that you can kind of roll with things as they come. That's something that I've learned too. Yes, please subscribe to Lavendula Substack if you are interested in learning more about time. Her project, Time is an Illusion, I think has been really amazing. Yes. Yes. Yes, welcome. Welcome. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that, Michelle. Thank you. Yes. Oh, thank you, Leslie. Y'all, I appreciate y'all. I was nervous before getting on this live, y'all. Gotta keep it real. But yes, I appreciate y'all. Yes. Yeah. Hope, good to see you here. Good to see you here. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I do too. Yeah, the term development. Yeah, where does it come from? And like I said, having worked in community development, economic development, right? Whose standards are these that we're trying to mold communities in? Things that already work well, right? Resources that have been intentionally stripped from people. This is deliberate action. And so development, right? When this is intentional, right? And it also assumes that communities don't have resources just because. That's not true. There's intentional action behind the scenes that extract resources, right? That have done so over time, that have deliberately targeted communities, that have managed within systems of oppression to build themselves, right? And then the target becomes on those communities to deliberately dismantle. Even coming from St. Louis, right? The East St. Louis riots in 1917. This was a deliberate action to destroy a prosperous Black community. And we see this over time. So the term development really doesn't sit well with my soul. That's something I've been leaning into. Lemondula, we were just talking about you. Yes, good to see you here. Yes, you're just talking about your Substack piece. Time is an illusion. It's amazing. It's amazing. I'm listening while at work, so I didn't have a chance to chat until now. Oh, you're welcome. You're so welcome. You're so welcome. And thank you for creating such beautiful pieces. Yes. Yeah. Oh, Devon shows us, I was watching one of your older videos and you look amazing. Oh, thank you. Thank you. You have a lightness now. Can't wait to hear more about travel and healing. You've always, oh, y'all, the compliments. Thank you. You always look gorgeous, but now I see the difference. I appreciate that. Seriously. But yes, other things I've learned that have helped me heal from trauma while abroad, right? The pace that I was taught to move at was not a human pace. So rushing everywhere, trying to meet these arbitrary deadlines that really just someone created out of thin air that don't actually exist, right? This is not natural. And when you travel, you see other people move at a pace that's human. And that can be kind of jarring at first. It's like, why aren't they on this rigid schedule that I'm used to? That's unlearning that's required within you, right? Because that pace that you were taught to move at was not a human pace. It wasn't. It was faster than we were ever meant to move. And so how can you really come within? Something I've had to tell myself, right? Just because this person is not moving at the pace that I want it to, what does that mean about what I've been taught? Right? To kind of, can I let things flow naturally versus trying to force them into place, which is what we have been taught to do so often, coming from the US, coming from the West. Right? These are not human paces that we are expected to operate at. And even thinking about enslavement, right? Being socialized as machines to literally adhere to timetables, deadlines that were never supposed to be. Right? And then when you travel abroad and you see that things operate a different way outside of the US, especially, that's a whole learning process. Right? And reflecting on things that your ancestors might have been through even, right? Something that I've done. How were people moving at this pace for generations? When you see another way that people live, it kind of gives you that opportunity to reflect, right? This was never supposed to be. Yeah, we do. We do. Yeah. Thank you, Leslie. Yeah, so if y'all have questions about traveling abroad, moving abroad, let me know. Put them in the chat if you have them. Other things I've learned, I'm not too sensitive. The US is just mean. So as someone who's very soft, right, sensitive, feels deeply, being in the US, growing up in the US feels like torture. Some days, I'm just going to be honest, right? Having to kind of put on a mask all the time when you interact with people because people are mean, right? Just the culture in general is very rigid, structured. People like to make fun of people a lot. right? And so growing up in that environment, that really did a number on my soul. And so having to sit with that and see people actually be kind to each other and that be the default outside of the US, it kind of tells you something is very deeply wrong with this society and this culture that we come from. Right? Yeah. It is it? Yes. It is mean. It's mean. And that's kind of the default. Even seeing people now, having been abroad and seeing people who come to the US and how they're treated. Now I have a different lens because I've been treated with so much kindness being here, right? Not being fluent in Spanish yet. And the grace that has been shown to me, something I have on my list, right? The grace that was missing all this time. Seeing how people are treated, I'm like, wow, y'all are mean. Y'all are really mean. In any opportunity that to extract power, right? When you see something that stands out about someone, a lot of folks in the US take that as an opportunity to bully people, to break their self-esteem down, to make them feel bad about themselves. This is a cultural element, right? Again, we know the foundations of the US: land theft, enslavement, right? These things are essential to understand when you think about how people operate at a micro level in the culture, in the society. It's very mean. Of course, it would be given the foundations of it. So that's important to understand. Yeah. Thank you, Laura. Yeah. Torture. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. I am learning Spanish. Yes, I am. So just by interacting with people right now, but yeah, I do plan to start lessons in the future. Yeah. So, yeah. And surprisingly, it's easier than you think. It's still difficult. So I do want to say that, but it is easier than you think to pick up language just by interacting with people. I know that my dentist has been a way that I have learned Spanish the most since I've been here because she speaks a little bit of English. I speak a little bit of Spanish. So we kind of go back and forth with each other. So that's been amazing to experience as well. And those of you who have trauma with dentists, me, it has been healing, right? For someone to be able to, someone to treat me like I'm human when I come into the office for a medical appointment versus having to put on the mask, prepare, right? Put on the face, like you're not gonna mess with me. Going into the dentist, which I've had to do before, it's like you can allow yourself to take that off and it's healing and it's freeing to be able to do that. Yeah. Yes, Lavendula. Yes, I do. Do you experience travel anxiety, social anxiety? How do you manage? Yes, both. Both. I think that being rooted in the present moment has been helpful. Self-regulation, that has been a journey I've been on for like a decade now at this point. Learning how to self-regulate, right? When things don't go my way, when things feel like out of control, coming back into myself, again, breathing. I think I shared some tips about this on my past video, but breathing, doing like rooting exercises, kind of just having a life goes on type of attitude versus what I used to be, which was very rigid, very to the book, right? Because I was in a field that required me to be like that, being in banking, being in finance, and really having to shed those pieces of myself that were never me, getting back to my core essence. I think that's been helpful as well in dealing with anxiety, coming back into like my childhood selves before I had anxiety when I was free. That has been helpful. Yeah. Oh, I get that. I get that. Thank you for sharing that. Yes. Yeah. 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 And I felt like that held me back a lot too. Yeah, and it's just through practice, right? Realizing like telling myself this is going to feel awkward. This is going to feel strange. I'm going to be anxious, right? Having that radical acceptance with myself, but I can still do it because I've proven to myself throughout my life that I can still go through with things that make me feel anxious, right? Scared. And on the other side of that is what I want to achieve. And so being honest with yourself about the process and what it may come with, and then knowing that you can still get to the other side because you've proven it to yourself throughout your life over and over again. I think like telling ourselves our track record can be so healing, right? I've already been through this multiple times in multiple settings, and I've survived, and I've actually like gotten to the other side. So hopefully that was helpful. Yes, Lauren. Yes, mean mugging. It's regional for sure because in the Northeast, baby, people are mean. Yes, yes, absolutely. Yes. Yeah. And being from the Midwest, being from St. Louis, people are mean. People are mean too. I think it's like a full country thing, but I do hear you. I do hear you, Northeast. Yes. Yeah. It's like even going into the dentist, right? Places where we should expect care. I think Alicia did a video on this too, right? Going into the nail salon and having to put on this mask. Right now, I gotta like act like I'm coming in here to do something because I know that people are gonna regard me a certain way. Being able to free yourself from that, again, when you travel abroad, when you leave the borders, and we know that borders are a colonial construct, they don't actually exist. So leaving the borders, right? How freeing can that be to expect what you should always be able to expect, which is respect and care, especially when you walk into a place where it's literally, that's what you're there for. Yeah. My sabbatical life says I returned from 2 months in Spain a week ago and it was a healing pace and allowed me to do things like sit in the sun on the beach or a park and just exhale. In the US, we don't savor resting. Thank you for sharing this and welcome. Yes. Yeah. That's something I have on my list too, right? Being able to sit outside and no one bother me. Again, the basic things that we should be afforded. It should be like, yeah, of course. No, not in the US. If you sit outside for more than, 15 minutes sometimes, someone's going to come up to you, right? Maybe a police officer, maybe someone trying to like see what you're doing, surveillance state. Because again, the roots and foundations of the settler colony, right, is surveillance. So this really tells us why people treat us like this. And then once you leave, you have this new perspective. This isn't how life is around the globe. Right? And that can be jarring too. And that can be a grief process because you have been taught that this is just how life is your entire life. Wrong. Wrong. Thank you for sharing that. And I love that imagery. Sitting in the sun. Mm-hmm. Sitting in the sun on the beach or a park and just exhale. That's it. Just breathe. Yeah. Yeah. Come on, Leslie. I'm not sensitive. You're just a bully. That's it. That's it. Yes. That's it. Yeah. And externalizing what you've experienced, right? Because a lot of us will go inside. What's wrong with me? I'm too sensitive. I shouldn't take this so personally. Externalize that. No, that person's just messed up. That person's just a bully. That person's just trying to extract power from me because they may feel powerless under systems of oppression. So they see me as an easy target. But nothing is wrong with me. Really protecting that within yourself is so crucial. Yeah, can you talk more about moving slower? You mentioned earlier, how do you balance moving slower while still achieving your dreams goals? Thank you for that question. I think trusting spirit. So in this like transformation that I've been through working with Coach Yolanda on YouTube, and her really helping me reconnect to spirit, to be able to trust that if I move at the pace where I feel called to, right, that will bring the things that I'm looking to achieve naturally. We are taught to outwork the pace that we're naturally drawn to do things. So that exhausts us, that leaves us emotionally drained, right? Because we're pushing past the natural flow of life, right? And it's intentional. So really trusting, yeah. When I feel myself kind of going into overwork mode, going the opposite way, bringing my awareness to it, right? I'm feeling myself overworking. I'm going to go the opposite way and lay down. I'm going to go on a walk. I'm going to breathe. Because sometimes when we are overworking, we're moving very quickly. We can stop breathing. And that's like the first step to your nervous system being dysregulated, is you withholding breath. So I hope that was helpful. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for the hearts. Hi, Juju Bean. Welcome. Welcome. Yes. So true. I never thought about it. There's a heaviness to being surveilled. 100%. I will come back and watch the rest of this. Thanks for validating so much of what I experienced. Oh, you're welcome. You're so welcome. And yes, the replay will be available as well. So yes. Yeah. Yeah, the surveillance state. Yep. And even reading narratives of people who were enslaved, right? The surveillance, the constant surveillance, the watching you. Because there has always been something that they have never been able to quell within us, no matter what action they've taken, no matter what evil path that they've taken. There's always something within us, right, generationally, that has told us that this is not right, that bondage is not right, right? And so our quest for freedom really lives within inside of us. It lives inside of us, and it can never be turned off. If it hasn't been able to be turned off throughout all of the things we have been through collectively as a people over centuries, why would it ever be turned off now? And that can even be helpful in these times, realizing that it can't be. There's just something inherent within us. And we see that inspiring so many other movements around the world. What we've been able to tap into and also hold on to. It's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah. Other things I've learned that have helped me heal from trauma, from traveling abroad, people can give you grace, right? If you make a mistake, if you say a word wrong, something I'm working with, learning Spanish, no one cares. No one cares. No one's about to make fun of you. They will do that in the US, absolutely. But it's like that freeing realization, right? I can be a human being. I can make mistakes. I can laugh about it, right? And it not be that big of a deal. It takes the pressure off. It takes the pressure off. And you also realize the standards to which you've been held throughout your life. They were not human. They didn't allow you to make mistakes. Someone was going to make fun of you if you said something wrong, if you did something wrong, right? And that was never okay. That was never okay. Why did you pick Mexico to move to? There's so many places it can be overwhelming to choose where to go. Yeah, I think it's because it was close to the US. I've been back home a few times. So yeah, the flight is about 6 hours, 6 or 7 hours back home. So that's doable. And as a new international traveler, right, I wasn't ready to go someplace where the flight was really long. Also, I'm a nervous flyer. So there's that. So just having like a manageable distance from the US to start off if I needed to go back, which I have been back and forth. Yeah. And Adelia has a really great resource on her channel, Picky Girl Travels the World, the Move Abroad checklist. If you're kind of debating which place to go to, she has a lot of great resources. So I'll put her channel here. That is Picky Girl Travels the World. That is her channel. If you're looking for travel resources, budgeting tips, anything like that, her channel has been amazing. Yes, Hope, I love this. I can be imperfect and it's okay. I can feel anxious and it's okay. That affirmation. Yes, thank you. Something I've had to repeat to myself, right? I'm anxious and I'm doing this and I'm still going to do it. Giving yourself that freedom internally, right? I'm scared to do this and I'm still doing it because I know this is what I want to do. I'm doing it and I'm imperfect because I'm a human being, but I'm still going to do it. Right? And whatever outcome is meant to be achieved will be achieved. Trusting that and kind of yielding. A practice I've been in lately, like a spiritual practice, yielding. Right? Knowing that when I feel called to do something, the thought will be there. The motivation will be there. If I don't, then that means I need to rest. And trusting in the flow of life. Again, a lot of us have been socialized to force life, because that is the messaging of colonization, to force. So it requires like deep unlearning to really get back to the essence of who you are before all this messaging came into play. You knew the way. You already knew the way. Yeah. Yes. Let's see. Healing from trauma, learning that I'm not a workhorse. No, I don't have to take on 2, 3, 4 jobs being paid for one, as they often like to do with Black women in the workplace, as I've talked about on my channel. No, I don't have to prove to you that I'm worthy. No, I don't have to get another degree, certification. I'm already worthy inherently, right? We are no one's workhorse, but that is how we are socialized in the US, in the West. And so unlearning that to heal from the trauma that you experienced, that told you that you had to work even harder to achieve respect, something that you should be granted already, just by virtue of you being here. Right? Realizing that people want to hear what you're saying, they want to get to know you, right? That you don't have to fit in to be safe. It's okay to stand out, right? And also recognizing that there are different intersections within our identities, right, that may impact this as well. But really, if you have been bullied as a child, which I have talked about on my channel, and you have stood out in places and that has made you a target, being able to free yourself from that by traveling to the place that is calling out to you, right? Researching different places, traveling abroad outside of the US or wherever you are, and having that afforded to you, right? It's okay to stand out. That has been something I have had to tell myself, right? It's okay. Again, healing from childhood bullying where that has not been okay in the past, where you did have to shrink to fit in, where you did have to pretend to be someone else, right? And really unlearning that. Travel can help you do that. Lady Purple LP says, when you moved to Mexico, how did you feel not knowing Spanish? And how did you navigate your interactions with locals? I want to move, but I'm so scared about not speaking the language. I get this. And can I say some days it's still a struggle? It is, and that is an internal struggle of unlearning perfectionism. Again, of feeling like I have to get everything right. I'm a recovering straight A student, type A personality, recovering. So really it has been a lot of internal work in telling myself that I don't have to be perfect. I don't, because no one else is expecting me to be perfect here. They were in the US, realizing I'm not there anymore, right? So I was very scared not knowing Spanish fluently. I do have like an intermediate understanding of Spanish, but yeah, interacting with the locals has been probably the thing that has surprised me most. It has been the easiest. Because people here, especially in Guadalajara, like you'll come across people often who speak English, right? A little bit of English, and if you have a little bit of Spanish, it's like a collaboration versus feeling like you're doing a presentation, which is something I've had to unlearn, right? It's really like communicating with people on a human level. Taking out your app, your Google Translate app when you have it, being in community with other people here who live locally has been helpful as well. And yeah, that fear is real. That fear is real, especially again, coming from the US where you have seen probably people being ostracized for not speaking English, right? And realizing that that is not the case everywhere in the world. So I hope that was helpful. Yeah. Michelle Lynn Thompson, hello. Yes, hello, everyone. Yes, the slower pace of traveling and experiencing a new community is such a contrast to living in the US. Yeah, it is. It is. And we would love to know where you traveled to if you'd like to share. But yeah, it is. It's a contrast. And that has been, yeah, so healing to have that contrast, right? Realizing that what I had been taught was all lies. And that can be jarring too, especially lies about other countries and how they function and what they look like. When you travel there, you realize, oh my gosh, that was a lie. That was a straight lie that was told to me, right? And just seeing for yourself how places look, the amenities that places have, how people treat you, the grace that is shown, right? Because a lot of what we're taught is projection from the US, right? That's what they do. But they're telling us that that's what exists outside of the borders so that we stay. Of course, there's a vested interest in us staying. As I wrote before, Black women's labor upholds the US. Of course, there's a vested interest in convincing us not to leave, right? Whether to travel, experience new places, or to move. Yeah. Yes, I did create. This was back when I first started my journey, but I do have a guided mental wellness workbook for Black travelers. Um, I had a whole Instagram page at one point, unpacking the baggage, just connecting like mental wellness, healing ancestrally from trauma and how travel can help with that, especially as Black travelers. But yes, if you'd like to purchase that, here's the link. I'll link it in the chat too. Yes, y'all. Let me know if you have any other questions. Traveling abroad, the trauma of the US, healing from what you've experienced, and how travel can help with that. Yeah, things that you've learned traveling outside of the US, even domestically, because that has been helpful for me. So I've solo traveled to Seattle, Atlanta, DC, and San Francisco so far within the US. And those trips have allowed me to see different parts, right? Versus where I was in St. Louis in the Midwest. So you can start there too. Don't think that your first trip has to be abroad if you're not ready for that. You can still travel domestically to different places, right? And see how people are living differently, see different landscapes, different things that are different options to you. Lesson says the dynamics of living in the US as an expat is really interesting, but I'm sick of it and ready to go. Wow, yeah, I'm actively looking for remote work so I can be out. Yeah. Ooh, and I would love to hear about your experiences, right? As an expat in the US. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. Yeah. I'm actively looking for remote work. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Um, and I'm putting together a training with my friend Quinn, who's a fellow Black woman virtual assistant, on how to become freelancers, right? As Black women, because as more of us are encountering these very toxic work environments, right, where we have all the skills, we have all the certifications, we have all the degrees, and that actually makes us a bigger threat within these organizations. And we want the ability to travel, right, work remotely using our existing skill set. So I'm putting together a group coaching program. If you are looking to become a freelancer, right, and leave a toxic job, leave a job that's not serving you, that you don't want to do anymore, have location freedom to be able to travel or live a different place, especially in the current environment that we're in. So I'm excited about that. More to come, more to come. Yeah. Devon Shell says, yes, I used to rush through. Yes, I used to rush through meals and eat on a timer because I was busy and a lot was put on me. Even at home, I learned to say no. Thank you for this. Can we talk about even the education system being socialized to eat within like 20 minutes? Why? Why? Yeah, I'm still having to unlearn that. Starting in elementary school, right? Being rushed through my meal. I do that to myself now and I have to actively like bring my awareness to it. I'm not there anymore. I'm not in school. I get to decide how long this meal lasts. I can take my time. Yes, 100%. Thank you for that. Oh, I did see a question up here. Yes, Juju Bean. Yes. Is there anything that you miss about the US? Family. Um, some food spots. Yep. The convenience. So realizing that abroad, the convenience factor that exists in the US, you're probably not going to find that where you go, right? Having stuff like so many fast food places, so many, just everything in abundance, right? Extra, which can also be stressful as well. But things just like that you can get right everywhere. Sometimes you have to go out of your way to get those things if you're outside of the US. So the convenience factor, but also realizing that that created a lot of stress for me at the same time, a lot of overwhelm. So it's kind of like that. What else do I miss? The land, the land, the snow. I miss the snow. Um, yeah, I'm trying to think what else. I think those are the big things. Yeah, yeah. Which is why I've been back, and that's the thing that I want to share too. Like you can fly back because some of us think that it's like a permanent move outside of the US. If you don't like it, you can always go back, right? No one's looking at you like, and if they are, they don't need to be around you because life is a continuous evolution, right? So if you move to a place, if you travel to a place and you want to travel domestically instead, you want to come back, give yourself that flexibility, please. Yeah. Lesson says the thing is that we don't think of it as being an expat because so many come and get citizenship, so not interested. Why would I want to be a citizen here when the citizens are trying to get out? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. 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 You always provide such a unique perspective, Leslin. We appreciate you. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yes. Coming soon. If you're interested in taking your existing skills, which I've talked about before, and becoming a freelancer, which is what I did. Left a toxic job, took my skills, snatched it from that toxic organization, and started my own business working with Black women entrepreneurs. If you are looking to do that, I'm creating a group coaching program that I'll be launching soon with my friend who's a fellow Black woman VA, virtual assistant, combining our skill sets to help other Black women get free of toxic environments, whether that be an organization, a country, and really allowing us to achieve location freedom like other people do, because we're the ones who really need it. We're the ones who really need it. I'm going to need some siesta time. Siesta time, yes, yeah. That's another thing, taking naps. It's normalized. And in a lot of places outside of the US, it's normalized. So when we see people like Trisha Hersey, right? The nap ministry, literally telling us, right, you have to rest. It's actually your human right to rest. That is a revolutionary concept within the US, given the foundations. And once you leave the borders, you see other people resting. You see other people sitting on the bench, right? Taking a nap on the bench outside. And no one is bothering them. Right? It's just like, yeah, they're tired. There's an acceptance that we get tired as human beings. Right? That's kind of like an out there concept in the US. Like, you don't just work through being tired. No, I'm going to take rest. Right? And that's sad. That's sad because we understand the roots and the foundations of why that is. Our ancestors were not given time to rest because they were not regarded as human beings. And so it makes sense that we still have time giving ourselves the human right of rest because we have to take it. Yeah. Oh, that's okay. We got what you meant. We got what you meant. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. Marilyn, hello, welcome. Yeah. I miss plazas and the VIs, but it forced me to buy local and support the community. Yeah. Plazas. Ooh. Mm-hmm. Again, the convenience factor. So in the US, there are plazas with like, you can get everything, all your needs met in like one stop. You might have to go to 10 different places that are like on the other side of the city outside of the US to get those same needs met. So that's something to be aware of. The convenience factor is probably not going to be the same, but is that something that you can work through and plan for, right? And have flexibility in that. Yeah. Lesson says, I think the flexibility to do as you please is what is paramount in a move like this. Yes, 100%. Yeah, flexibility. Yeah. Leaving behind rigidity. And again, if you're coming from a corporate space, as I was, that's going to require a lot of deep unlearning, which I would love to help you work through as you make your plan, right? Because it's not just like buy the plane ticket, go to a new location, you're a new person. You're still the same person. You still have the same trauma that you've experienced throughout your life, right? You're still unlearning these messages that you've internalized, that you have to operate this way to be successful. How can you begin to literally like take that off yourself and free yourself from those beliefs that were never meant to serve you in the first place? Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm excited. Y'all. Be on the lookout. Group coaching program. If you're looking to become a freelancer as a Black woman, taking the skills you already have. We're the most educated group of people in the US. We have all the skills. We have all the certifications. We have the degrees. Even if you don't, You still that girl, okay? How can you take those skills and transition them to start your own freelance business, which has zero or very low startup cost? Which again, having worked on the racial wealth gap, right, throughout my career, startup cost of businesses is a huge barrier. With that being eliminated, how can you now just take your skills and become a freelancer? As a lot of folks in Europe do, which I've learned being in communities of freelancers. Like, it's not a big thing. It's like, yeah, take your skills, get your clients, and travel around the world. That's what we need as well. We really need that to get out of these toxic, oppressive environments that keep us feeling stuck. So more to come on that. I'm excited about it, if you can tell. If you can tell, yeah. Still that girl, okay? Still. Yes. Marilyn says, very informative topic, Marissa. Thank you. Thank you. I've been traveling for over 60 years before working for airlines, and now a retiree from the airline industry. It's a choice and a decision for itself. Yes. And Marilyn, I would love to interview you on my channel if you're open to it. Let me write that down, because I know you got some stories. Traveling for over 60 years. Wow. Wow. Yes. Thank you for sharing that with us. Yeah. It's a choice and a decision for self. Yes, self-reclamation. Self-reclamation. So travel allows you to reclaim those parts of yourself that you lost along the way, that you took off to fit into environments that did not deserve you, right? That you had to do that to survive. You can start to put those pieces of yourself back on when you travel, because you're not in those environments anymore, right? Having that self-trust that you knew what you were talking about this entire time, that you were actually never wrong when you felt that way in that environment around that person. You were never wrong. And traveling allows you to really hone those skills of self-trust, reclaim those parts, and really step into who you were always meant to be, outside of these very oppressive, restrictive, rigid environments that a lot of us are saying, you know what, bye. Bye. No. This is not how we're meant to live. Just because you said it's how we're meant to live, who are you? Who are you? Right? Because too many of us have this within us that like keep telling us this is not how life is supposed to be. And thankfully for communities like you two, right, we've found each other to validate that within each other. No, you're not wrong. No, you're not losing your mind. It may feel like it, but you're not losing your mind. Right? It's the environment, the structures that are wrong fundamentally because of the foundations that are evil. Yeah. Hey, Mimi. Hey, yes, I'm about to be driving, so I won't be commenting. Yes, but I'm glad that I can catch the remainder of this live. We'll definitely be watching the replay. Yes, please do. Please do. Good to see you here. Yes, drive safe. Drive safe. Yes, Lauren says, and they make outdoor public seating uncomfortable in the US to discourage unhoused individuals from occupying the space. 100%. Yep. Yep. Spikes on benches, right? Dividers on benches. It's deliberately evil. So the systems create the conditions of people being unhoused. And then the solution to that is to, even on the benches, you want to put a barrier? You want to put a way to harm people? Even on the benches, even on the ground. There's spikes on the ground too, some places. Right? There are people who actively target people who are unhoused. What does that say about the culture and the society? Yeah. Thank you, Lord. Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Marilyn says, I've been very aware of how people live abroad at a very early age. Americans rush, hurry. Yes, yes. Take time to breathe and slow down, quiet time, take a nap, embrace the little things. Yeah, yeah. Thank you for that. Yeah. Rush, hurry. Yes, yes. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, and the podcast episode I did on healing from the shame of going slow. So our ancestors knew this already, which means it lives inside of us, something that just has to be reawakened. When we look at the pace that people went, it was slow, right? And even in the Great Migration, The Warmth of Other Suns by Isabel Wilkerson, highly recommend this book. Hold on. So this chronicles three individual people's journey from the South to the North during the Great Migration. And you see the shame that starts to happen when people made that journey, right? From the South, where things move very slowly, right? People were in nature a lot. People, like, there were customs and traditions that were able to be maintained, right? Even throughout the transatlantic slave trade, which is amazing, doesn't even cover it, but like, wow, wow. And then you start to see the shame start to come on to people as they transition to northern cities where things move very quickly at a very fast pace, where you don't have time to stop, breathe, right? Go into nature. And so, what effect does that have on us today? That we've been socialized to really, again, push our bodies past the point of exhaustion. We're socialized as machines. Still, right? It never went anywhere, it just took on a different form. So, things to think about. Yeah. Thank you. Hey, Mira. Good to see you here. Good to see you. Breeze Louise, I love that name. Welcome. Yes. Hi, everyone. Two major takeaways in recent weeks for me. You can never work hard enough or be accomplished enough to please them. And if they treat their own badly, they'll never treat us right. Yes. 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 Thank you for that. I gotta sit with that for a second. Yes. Yeah. And a lot of us are at that place of radical acceptance, right? Something that is in a lot of like healing from narcissistic abuse conversations, having the radical acceptance that this person, this place, this environment will not change. It won't. You just look at history for proof of that, which is why they try to disconnect us from history, right? And having that radical acceptance going forward frees you. Even if you still have to be in that environment, now you have the understanding that this will not change. If you work yourself to the bone, if you take on another role, if you take on the, oh my gosh, the volunteer positions, if you lead the book clubs, now I'm calling myself out. This won't change. This will not change because it's fundamental in the structure of the environment, in the society, in the country. It is the foundation on which it is built. So having that radical acceptance, right, about what we're in and how can we preserve ourselves in the meantime, guarding our inner peace. I'll be hosting a workshop coming up, guarding your inner peace. through Sister Afia Community Wellness, which I'm looking forward to. So be on the lookout for that. But how can we guard our inner peace within these times? Because there are active campaigns to try to strip us of our peace, of our joy, of our wellness, to try to control us. So yeah, I agree with that. And thank you for sharing that. Thank you. Yeah. It's evil. It's evil. That's it. Yeah. Yes, this is a book, The Warmth of Other Suns by Isabel Wilkerson. Highly, highly recommend if you're looking for more information on the Great Migration. It's a huge book, but it's an easy read. So yes. Yes. You're welcome, Marilyn. You're welcome. Oh, no. No such thing as late. Glad you're joining, Shanna. No. Still feel like I'm not doing enough. It's like never enough. No. You are. You're doing so much, Mara. You're doing so much just to like say that back to you. You are. You are. And I know a lot of us can feel like that sometimes, right? It's like, and what I'm doing, is it enough? Yes. The answer to that is yes. Yeah. And it's like living in these oppressive systems, environments that try to tell us and convince us that we have to do even more while they get to sit on their couch, right, on their yacht and relax and have leisure time. But we have to work ourselves to a pulp. Why? Right? It like feeds right into their messaging, their agenda. To heal from trauma, right, even bringing it back to the topic, you really have to detach yourself from an agenda that you never agreed to uphold. That's just what was given to you. That's what was told to you that you have to uphold. You have agency. You have agency. And so, yes, you're doing so much. You're doing more than enough. You are. But yes. Oh, yes. I just added a book to my Amazon book list. I'm a reader, especially art history as well. Others. Yes. Me too. Love history. Yeah. I do have my laptops on it right now. But Black Reconstruction in America by W.E.B. Du Bois. Would recommend. It's a huge book. So if you're really into history, I'd recommend it. But I've only gotten through about how many pages? Probably about 50 pages. And it's a good 1,000-page book plus. But yeah, that's Black Reconstruction by W.E.B. Du Bois. Which is extremely pertinent right now, right? Black Reconstruction, the period after the Civil War, before Jim Crow, where progress was actually made, right, in the US, and then it was violently rolled back intentionally. So it was a period of like less than 10 years. But yeah, this book kind of chronicles what things were like during that period. That's often overlooked. So, fellow nerds out there, if you like to read, that's the book. It has 4.8 stars. Yes. Well deserved. Yes. The Warmth of Other Suns by Isabel Wilkerson. Yes. And grab your tissues. Because it's, yeah. It's emotional. And it follows 3 people throughout their entire lives. It chronicles people, 3 people, right? Using stuff like probably, I would assume, like interviews with their family members, documents and stuff like that, from when they're young adults, when they first moved from the South, to their passing, when they're firmly in the North, when they have families of their own. So yeah, I'd recommend that. We are all enough. We are the gift. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Navon Shell says, I'm originally from Connecticut, moved to the South, and moved back to New England. And wow, I refused to drive fast, use my weekends to squeeze everything in and rush my relaxation. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I felt that too when I moved from Missouri, right, the Midwest, to the South, North Carolina. I felt that too, right? The move to go slow. Yeah, that is interesting. How different places have a different impact on your energy, how you show up. Mm-hmm. Thank you for that. Yeah. Yeah, sending you love, Mara. Yes, you're doing enough. You're doing enough. Marilyn says, my philosophy, make them uncomfortable. Yes. Most Black, brown are shocked when I tell them that. Yeah. Make them uncomfortable. They have no issue making us uncomfortable. And so why are we holding back? That's kind of the phase I'm in. It's like, why am I holding back? If you're going to say what you want to say, what you've always been wanting to say, then let's do it. Then let's do it. Yeah. Other ways, healing from trauma by traveling abroad, right? Again, how rude and evil people are in the US, in the West, right? Colonization, something I'll be talking about more, and connecting colonization to mental health, right? Really taking inspiration from Indigenous nations in Canada, in the US, right? Really globally, but from those 2 places primarily. How can we connect the larger system of colonization to what we're experiencing mental health wise, emotionally, right? Being in a place that we were never meant to be in. And what impact does that have on us? Yeah. Reconnecting with joy by traveling abroad, right? Prioritizing joy, rest, self-care in ways that you really can't often in the US because it's such a work-centered, grind-centered culture, society. So being able to do that outside of the US, right? Reconnecting with your authentic self, again, by being in environments where you are celebrated versus tolerated. Because that's what it feels like so often, right? I guess you can be here. I guess you can be in the space. And then once you're in the space, I'm going to make it miserable for you to remind you that you were never meant to be here, right? So that is real. That's real. And the last one I have is belonging, right? So many of us are seeking belonging because that's really hard to find in the US. Can you find that by traveling abroad, by connecting with communities that align with your values? Right? Even if you don't travel, can you connect with communities that align with your values? That support you, that uplift you, that reflect back to you that you're amazing. and nothing was ever wrong with you. Yeah. Can you make a book list on your site or Amazon of your book recs? I can. Thank you for that suggestion. Much appreciated. Come on. Why am I holding back? Why? Why? Again, if y'all feel comfortable, if we're at that stage, it's like, okay. So we're not holding back anymore? Okay. Got it. Got it. Again, like I said at the beginning, because we are coming in providing healing information, liberation information. And so it should be loud or louder than people trying to strip our rights from us. Right? Your voice doesn't get to be the only voice in the room anymore. No. Because you're trying to take us back. Mm-mm. Leslie said, I have a 5-year-old grandson, and he told his teacher that only evil people yells at children. Teach your children well. Yes, I took him out for ice cream. Yes. Thank you, Leslie, for sharing that. Yep. We need that. We need that. Mm-hmm. Because, like, especially in schools, right, our defenses are kind of broken down. Things that we come into school being like, hey, that's wrong. Don't talk to me like that. Right? And gradually over time is kind of whittled away, again, by authority, by people in positions of power that tell us that we have to heed what they're doing. Even though we know it's wrong, our little selves are like, no, that's not right. And so to reinforce that within him, like, no, you are on the right track. Please keep doing that. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Thank you. Yeah. Yay, yay, yay. More books to your library. Always. Always. Can never have enough books. Yes. Come on. Don't yell at my little man because he don't care about Christopher Columbus. I know. Mm-mm. That is true. I love that, Leslie. Yeah. Yeah. So yes, y'all, I want to thank y'all so much for being here today on this Tuesday. It is Tuesday. Okay, Tuesday afternoon, for sharing everything that you shared. Again, I'm offering, oops, wrong banner. If you're looking for help making your travel abroad, move abroad plan, yeah, I'm now offering one-on-one coaching calls that you can book using this link. And I'll link in the chat. Again, I have traveled to, where have I traveled to? Mexico City, Mexico City, Playa del Carmen, San Miguel de Allende, Querétaro, and Guadalajara, which is where I live now. So if you're looking, especially to travel through Mexico, but anywhere, right? If you're looking to transition out of a toxic work environment and make your travel plans, I use FMLA to take that break from a toxic work environment that was draining my spirit and literally like trying to kill me, honestly. To take 11 weeks off. It was unpaid. Some states do have paid FMLA leave policies. Also look for sabbatical in your workbook. Your handbook, your employee handbook. Paid leave options within your employee handbook. If you need to take a break, and if travel is part of that, I would love to work with you to help you build your plan, take your sabbatical, rest, reclaim yourself, all of those things. And please subscribe to my channel. Please like this video. Please comment below if anything resonated with you. If you're watching the replay, please share this video with other Black women who are looking to travel abroad to heal from trauma. Anything else I wanted to share? Oh, in the thumbnail, the ancient pyramids of Teotihuacan outside of Mexico City, which I visited, which are beautiful. Beautiful. Would highly recommend that experience. If you're looking to see pyramids, but the flight to Egypt is a long, long flight. If you're a nervous flyer like me, yes, would recommend those right outside of Mexico City. So yes, y'all. Yeah. You're welcome, Mara. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. You're welcome, Alicia. Yes, thank you for this. I have journaling to do. Yeah, yeah. Yes. If you enjoyed, please hit the like button. Friends, yes, please. Please hit the like button. And you're so welcome, Marilyn. Yes, thanks, Marissa. Ladies, wear your crowns proudly. That's a perfect note to end this live today. So yes, y'all. Thank y'all so much. And please be on the lookout for future things I have coming. Yeah, working on some exciting things. So excited to launch those in the coming weeks. You're welcome, Lauren. Thank you for being here. Bye, y'all. Thank you.